It's the Genius Portal. Podcast is here. Come play in your heart.
Hello and welcome to the Genius Portal podcast. It has been a while since we've recorded an episode, so it's really exciting to be back. We are on YouTube as well, hi, and we are also on your favourite podcasting app, so it's great to be back. I hope you've been well. I hope you've chewed through our previous episodes while we've been on a bit of a podcasting hiatus, and today I'm joined by my one and only wife, Clare Dunn. Say hi, babe.
Hello everybody.
Clare is a creator, she is an artist, she's a writer, she's a coach, she is a fellow teacher and trainer of the creative development work that we teach at the Genius Portal. She supports in a few of our containers there. She also does a lot behind the scenes at the Genius Portal and is working on a lot of things in her own time as well. So I don't want to tell you too much about her because she's going to introduce herself and talk about herself today, but I'm really excited to have her here, to have you here, babe, and to have you share your heart with our community, because obviously our community sees so much of me and they see so much of our lives through me, and they even see bits of you through me, through social media, through Instagram, through all those things. But I'm really excited for them to feel you through you, and to feel even us through you, or feel the Genius Portal through you, or whatever, wherever we go today. I'm really excited for it to be your voice that they're connecting with. So thanks for being here. Thanks for starting our season. And yeah, I'm gonna begin with the question. You're welcome to share your intention for the call today as well. Actually, it's always nice. But yeah, what's your intention, and also what's your genius?
Thank you for that lovely introduction, wife of mine. My intention here today is to just come and go down whatever journey of the call that is, and follow that and have a really great conversation and to be of service, and yeah, just have fun as well, because I know that we have a lot of fun together, so we can create and do this and have it be an awesome episode and have some great times. My genius shows itself in a lot of different ways. Like you said, I'm an artist, and I've been expressing that through this year through painting, and I'm hoping to I also take photos, and I want to combine the two of photography and then painting them and getting inspiration from there. And I love travelling, and so I know we have some pretty awesome trips this year planned, and so I'm going to have some pretty awesome and deep and beautiful canvases to feel from those travels. Coaching, I'm an intuitive coach, similar to yourself. And yeah, it's just part of my genius to be holding people in their greatness and to be a real stand and a warrior for their greatness in the world. And I'm really, part of my character or genius would be my boundaries, and really that it is such a gift when being a coach, because all the time it's just holding the boundaries of greatness, and I think that's a really special and such an honour to be called to do that. Other ways would be music. I'm just, I guess, that's one of my newer expressions that I'm getting into, or newer avenues that I've been called to go down. So it's still very fresh. I don't have a lot of evidence, or I don't have a lot of evidence of it in the world yet. It still feels like a very playful and new beginning there. But yeah, I definitely feel called to music. Stuff that really touches the soul and spiritual and your heart, that touches your heart. So yeah, it's a bit of the surface of my genius that comes up. Yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome, thanks, babe. Pretty multi-talented, if I can just have a humble brag about my wife. That's awesome. I would love to hear where your biggest calling for expressing your genius is right now, and what is challenging you about that, and how you're overcoming those challenges. Big question.
Thank you. What actually came to mind, there's twofold. I forgot to actually say writing in the first part. I'm actually writing a book at the moment, so that it feels like there's a balance here between my coaching and writing this book. I've been going for a while on the book, and it's been coming together, and I'm really excited about having it stand on its own and out in the world, and that's such a magical feeling to create and have it. Like, when I can vision it, I get to send it off into the world, and it just gets to exist, and people can see it and feel it and experience it. So on one hand, my book, and on the other hand, my coaching. Both of them are very visual ways for me to be seen in the world, and I've had a habit in the past of hiding that and hiding myself, and it's been a process of unfolding the different sides to myself, and those, I guess, the results in the world will be what creations I put out at what time. And a lot of last year was about my relationship with you and us getting married, and so there was a really big calling for that, and the results I could see in the world was us getting married and having that beautiful wedding. And this, like, moving into this next season, it definitely feels a lot of my the potency around my offerings is around coaching and coaching people, and I guess connecting with people in that way. And so books and coaching are the two pivotal handhold pieces in there.
Cool. I'm going to circle back to the books, because there's just a few things about the coaching jumping out at me that I'd love to explore with you, and I don't think we can explore both at the same time, talented as we are. But you mentioned when I first asked you what's your genius, and you began describing really these different ways that your genius is expressing in the world, rather than defining your genius. And you mentioned that in your coaching, part of your genius is being a warrior for people's greatness. And I wondered if you could describe that to someone who maybe that isn't normal language for. Like, that's normal language for us. We talk about archetypes, and we talk about greatness, and we talk about all these things, but what does that mean? What does it mean to you? And because I think that's something that makes you stand out as a coach. You know, there's so many coaches in the world, and there's so many different types of coaches, and people go to different coaches for different things. But I think this character that you mentioned, or this intention, this characteristic of you as a coach, that you're a warrior for greatness, is a reason why someone would want to work with you, right? But what does that mean?
Yeah, so I think I see where I differed from your question, and I think I can actually answer both with this. And I'd say that I can be described as a minimalist, and how that applies to coaching is that I don't really have the space for a lot of fluff and a lot of excess, and I'm very direct. I can be very direct and to the point, and we're here for a purpose, and I want our time together to be very potent. And so I bring that into my coaching, and the end result will be having your greatness in the world. And so there's just a style to that, I guess, and that's part of where my greatness and the flavour of my greatness comes into it, that there's not a lot of people pleasing or having time for your fluff or the excess. And so that brings in that relates to that minimalist approach, but it's just because there's potency. Like there's potency in our time together and really making the most of it. Does that answer your...
Yeah, it's really cool. And it feels powerful. It's like, reminds me of a story that I've heard, which I could give this one specific example of where I've heard it, but it's not my story to share. But I think we've all heard a story of somebody powerful, somebody in a position of authority who's actually able to receive feedback, able to receive a reflection, able to receive a critical review, whether it's positive or negative. You know, people who are powerful and have their internal authority and are comfortable within themselves can receive direction like that, and can receive sharpness, and can receive the, hey, you didn't do this well, but you did this well, and they can receive both. And there's a type of person that can receive that, right? And it's not that we don't have that available for all of us, but it's that we're not all tapped into that power. And when we are tapped into our own personal power, we're able to really receive direction. And it kind of reminds me of, you know, a high vibe person or a highly effective creator. I think of myself as a highly effective creator, and I don't have 3 hours to get on a call with somebody to listen to my fluff or to kind of pander to where I want to people please or where I'm playing small. I do want to jump on a call where someone's able to just speak truth to me and serve me in that way, and that's what I find in my coaching. And it's efficient and it's effective, and it maybe would be hard to hear some of the things that I sometimes hear in coaching calls if I didn't have an access point to my own power. But because I do, even when I lose sight of that, or even when I forget my center, I can still come back and reorientate and receive that feedback. And I feel like that's something that is a real gift of yours, to be able to see someone as powerful, whether they're acting like it or not. And I really love in our relationship we have like this, it's not really a joke actually, it's an incredibly powerful tool, that when one of us, we say getting in our shit, like when one of us is in our shit, when one of us is disconnecting or creating a wedge of separation in our relationship, rather than connecting, rather than being in the pursuit of truth or growth or evolution, the other one of us will go, stop it, reconnect, come back, stop it. And it's funny, like I say, it's funny, but it's funny for us because it's in context, right? But when we say that, and you say it to me often, you just go, stop it, and I'm able to laugh at it because, and I can receive it, because when you say stop it to me like that, that's you going, hey, stop it, you're powerful, you don't have to behave like this. Or you're powerful, you don't have to be scared right now. You're powerful, you're safe to be vulnerable with me right now. Whatever the context is, you're not parenting me, you're not telling me what to do, you're not controlling me by saying stop it, and saying vice versa when I say it to you, but I think it's safe to say that you say it to me more. You're just going, just by saying those two words, you're communicating to me, hey, you're a powerful creator, act like it. And I think it's so potent and powerful that that's a gift that you're able to give people in your coaching. And our audience may or may not be aware, but we have a mastermind that we run, and within that mastermind, Claire's done support calls before, and you know, they're short support calls, right? It's not like a full-on coaching package where you're jumping on for an hour or so with your coach. They're short check-in support calls for 10 to 15 minutes, hey? And the feedback that I hear about you is like, wow, she gets straight into it, but she's on the money. And it's sharp and it's potent, and it's because you see people as powerful. And that's a real gift. So even though I'm asking you, what does it mean to be a warrior for greatness? That's what jumps at me is, yeah, you're a warrior for greatness because you're saying, hey, you are great. No matter what your results are, no matter who you've been, no matter what you've acted like, you have greatness inside you. You can start acting like it now. And it's such a powerful invitation to be able to offer people the opportunity to come and explore that deeply in a coaching container like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's how efficient I am, that you got it from what I just said, you know, you got that much out of it. And yeah, it is. We don't, because of seeing people as powerful and treating them like that, that's what they're really there for. That, like, you're coming to a coaching session, you're working with me or a coach to achieve an end result and to be seen as powerful in the world. And there's so many structures that tell you that you're not powerful and that you don't have the power in the world, and that actually this is where, like, if you're coming to this container with me, you're coming to be seen as powerful, and that's what I'm there to do. And I don't need to pander to you, and I don't need to hear all these different stories from you. Like, don't get me wrong, I love stories and yarning, but when I'm in that intention of the container and the space, and that's what I'm going to show up and do. And I don't, there's all these parts that I don't need, and there's the parts that I need to get into, and I do. And it's just but getting into applying successful structures, and that's what I'm there to do. And I say warrior of people's greatness.
Yeah, I'm so excited that it's becoming more and more of a priority for you, because obviously we've been together for 4.5 years now, a bit longer, just over 4.5 years. And in that time, there's been a lot of times where you've been a warrior for my greatness, and where you've also had to be a warrior for your own greatness, while I've been focused on my own creativity and my own things. And I think it's just such a gift. Like, you've been in this really unique initiation with me in life, and all the growth and all the shifts and all of the big leaps that we've moved into as a couple, but also as creators and as people living together, and, you know, as our relationship has transformed. And it's really cool to be able to witness you then now taking that in a bigger way, in a more intentional way, to serve more people with it, because I've been so served by it. And I feel like I could be one of your greatest testimonials for you as a coach, because you coach me day to day, as I do you. But it's really cool to shine a light on you in that role and your greatness in that space, because I guess especially because we're in a platform now and we're sharing with our community, and we're, you know, sharing even in this conversation. And I think from the outside looking in, because I might post more shit on Instagram, or, you know, share myself more, people might have seen more of me supporting you, but it's not at all the case. In fact, maybe it's even the other way around, because we've just been through so much. It's just really cool to see it. I don't really know where I was going with that.
Yeah, and just speaking to that, it is one of my great abilities, is to support, and that's what I do through coaching and supporting you in different ways. You are very much I wouldn't say I'm not a star, but the face of a lot of the creations that sometimes we have together, and I have different creative input, and it's just worked really well for us. And also on it has been a bit of a melting pot initiation for the last few years. Like, we started at different points, and we've chosen to be together and be on this journey, but we've also had our own starting point, or we were different people. We've had different goals, and I know that I went through a lot of... It's really easy to look back now and say, I chose you and I chose that end result for us being together, and then I just went on this ride of what I went through to become the person today, where we could live this life together, or where we continually choose to live this life together. And I feel like looking back, I can see that I went on a very wild ride of emotional and structural and just this changing of myself, or peeling back the layers, where I am now more myself in the world. So yeah, I guess my point is that we're these different people and different versions of ourselves, and we've become more ourselves today, and yeah, it was this beautiful journey.
I can remember so clearly, and I'm going to ask you about if there's a turning point moment that you can remember, but I can remember so clearly when you were living at Tori's, and it was in her newer home that I helped you move into. And Tori's a really good friend of ours. Tori was a member of, I feel like saying our bridal party, though technically Claire's bridal party. And yeah, I remember living there, and I remember having a miscommunication or an argument. I don't remember what it was about. I don't know what was going on, but I just remember being upset and triggered. I just remember being upset, and I was sitting in the bed in the room, and I remember you walking in, and I remember saying, we need to be able to speak the same language so that we can make this work. And when we don't speak the same language, we're like writing two different books, but if we're speaking the same language, at least we can write a book together. You know, and that's, I don't think I used the book analogy in the moment, but I remember this feeling of like, we've got to speak the same language. Like, we've got to at least be on this journey of self-development, which is something that we've both valued. But we were in different, like you say, we're in different points at that part of our journey, where I was, really, really honing in my craft, and I had a business that I had started, and I had authority in that world as doing sessions and kind of coaching stuff. I wasn't really calling it coaching at that time, I don't think, but I had this modality, I guess, this way of life that I lived that was really intuitive based, and you were coming out of a world and a lifestyle that was, of course, you were following your heart in different ways, but there was also a lot of logic in the structures and the framework and where you were coming from. And it was, I can remember it being a bit brain busting for our worlds to come together. Mine that was like so loosely intuitive that needed to become more grounded and structured, and yours that was so grounded and so structured, so logically structured, and really in service of your highest good needed to become more intuitive. So we like balance each other out, but I just remember it being such a clash of these different worlds, these different operating systems that we were both coming from. But it was so important to our hearts that we come together. And I don't know if you can remember the moment, but I remember sitting there going, and I was crying, which is not uncommon for me to be doing, really, with any mood. But yeah, I was crying, and I was like, we've got to speak the same language. Like, this isn't working. We're having miscommunications, and like, you're not understanding intuitive decisions that I'm making, and I'm making logical decisions that you're making wrong, and that doesn't work if we're making each other wrong. And like I said, I can't remember what it was about, but I remember it was not long after that you made your own decision to enroll in one of the courses that I was doing and to take on some more personal development, and you enrolled in Create Your Destiny with William Whitecloud, it was. And you already enrolled, and then you were like, can I come with you? Because we live in Western Australia, and the course was in Brisbane, I think.
Yeah.
And it was a really turning point moment for me in our relationship, but also with perceiving you as a creator, because I was like, I was seeing you in a different light, because what I'd communicated was, hey, we need to speak the same language, or at least be on this moving direction together. And I was like, it doesn't mean that you have to do the same work as me, or we have to, go through and do all the same courses, but we both need to be doing something if personal growth is such a high value And if we're going to be able to communicate powerfully and transformatively in our relationship, and just you taking that into your own hands and being like, cool, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, and you have that directiveness, and you're like, I'm going to go, I've already booked in, I'm going to the course, but can I come with you? You know, it's like you were there for your own reasons, for your own path, for your own truth, and maybe that argument or our relationship was a nudge in that direction, but you really made that decision for yourself, external to me. And you would have, you would have gone even if I said, no, you can't come with me, which I think says a lot. And it's a turning point for me, seeing you as powerful and seeing you as a creator where you just made that call for yourself. And it was for you and it was about you. And that jumps at me as one of our moments where our relationship shifted. So I don't know if you remember that. I imagine you do, because it's probably a story that's even more about you than it is me. But yeah, do you remember that? And also, can you remember, is that a turning point moment for you, or was there another one? I mean, there was probably hundreds. But what jumps out at you?
I do remember it a little bit differently, because obviously I wasn't you and I didn't make it mean so much about you. It was more, I kind of had this mantra or this way that I thought about things, and it was that I'm going to get what I want. And I still kind of have a similar version of that, but I'm just going to get what I want. And that I think back then was in a more broader sense of I'm going to have this great life that I love. And in a certain pinpointed sense, it was, I want to give this a chance with you. But it was more about me. It was like, I want this life. I have certain things that I want and a life that I want to live that I love. And I want to be able to have, I think a lot of it, my pain point back then was like deep, intimate relationships with people, and how I was always showing up as someone else, or how we show up with different dysfunctions that we're trying to exist in the world, and we've just learned how to do that, and that's what I did. And so I found it very hard to have deep, intimate relationships with a special partner, a romantic partner, or just with friends. I didn't have a lot, and it was more of a challenge for me. And so that was more of the pain point for me, to be going, okay, I want to change this, and I want intimacy, and I want to be able to connect with people and have like friends like that, and so and a partner. And so I decided that for me was my end result, and that's what I was going to go for, because it didn't really have anything in the same breath. It didn't have anything to do with you, because if you weren't that person for me, then I wouldn't have continued anything, or it wouldn't have been you. But I still would have been me having what I wanted. And so, yeah, I definitely would have gone. I don't know if I would have said, can I come with you? Or I probably said, do you want to go together? But you may remember it better than me. I just remember deciding that I was going to go, and then that was it. It was definitely a turning point, because I've decided I've wanted to do things before, and I've just gone and done them. Or I've I've just decided to go and do it, or this is what I needed to do. But it was definitely a turning point for me, because it gave me the course gave me a new perspective and a new framework, a foundation and basis for my structures of creating, and that was with relationship. It did affect my relationships, because it did shake the foundations of how I was operating, and it brought up things for me about myself. And I vividly remember actually at the course I volunteered for one of the exercises, and it was very confronting, and it was it was like I was seen just through all of my layers and people that I've the person that I've put onto the world. I was just seen through all of that. And so it was a deeply powerful moment for me. And to bring it all home and to bring it all back, that's what I feel like I do through it was such a gift for me that it was to be seen like that. And so that's the gift, and that's the orientation that I'd approach my coaching with, and approach being able to see other people, because when you spend your whole life hiding and being someone else, to actually be seen is such a gift, and it is so empowering, and it's amazing. So that's that. Yeah, just remember it. It was really amazing.
I noticed that you're getting a little bit emotional, which you may deny.
Yeah, I'm going to jump back in here about you crying. No, it's important. It's pertinent that, yeah, I wasn't a big, like, I'd cry at funerals before, but just, I'd cry if I laughed too much. But you just, like, so for people listening, this is my experience and my experiences of Ellie, that she could cry over anything. If it's a happy video on YouTube, a sad video on YouTube, a whole multitude of things that it used to be like alarm bells, which I think is for a lot of people. If someone's crying, you're like, alarm bells, like, what's going on, and I'm a fixer, so I'll ask the question, what can I fix, what do I need to do, who do I need to get in their face, no, how do I fix this situation? And because Ellie cries so much and at different emotional stimulants, it's now, it's more of a curious response for me of what's going on. Like, it's not a fear response of what's going on, what's happened. I ask the question of, I wonder what she's crying over now. I don't need to fix it. Sometimes I'm just curious. If I hear Ellie crying in her office, I'll just wander down and have a little look in the room, and sometimes she's just got tears streaming down her face and she's writing a book and something's happened in it. Or it could be, sometimes it is that someone's died or whatever it is, but it's now I've changed my relationship with crying. But yeah, there is a lot of crying there. And I think it's also impacted me that I've let myself become more emotional, and whether that's something happy or a memory that I can really drop into and achieve that deepness, or I'm standing at the altar waiting for Ellie to walk down, or there's just all these different experiences that I have in my life that evoke this emotion in me, and it's this beautiful, it just adds to my experience here. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It feels like you're more here. It's like life's more real because you're more connected to the waves of reality, like the waves of emotion coming through you, the waves of even exploring your own depth. It's just more attainable, and like you said, like there's nothing to fix or nothing wrong. And I was actually going to say, I'm noticing you getting emotional. Can you dive into that? Like, why did it make you emotional to be seen like that, and why does it make you emotional now? Not that you have to justify it, but if there's anything else you can share.
Yeah, so in the moment of, when I'm recalling being at this workshop and being seen, it's that I guess it is receiving a great gift, like as I said, but I'd had so many experiences where people would just accept the lies or the front that I put on, and we have so many experiences in life where people take you at the words or the front that you put up, and there's a certain care and love involved for someone to actually see you. Yeah, and that's what gets me emotional, is that care and love. Yeah.
Thanks, Faye. It's beautiful. I keep forgetting that we're on a podcast. I just keep staring at you with love eyes. Just listen to you all day. You mentioned earlier that you have this like mantra, I suppose, of you're gonna get what you want, and it's kind of been a running joke, but not a joke in our relationship. Like we joke about it, but it's the truth. Like you do always get what you want, and you also mentioned like this is the life that I want. I want this life, and I wondered if you could describe more detail on that. Like, did you said you wanted deeper relationships. Was that kind of the extent of it? Was there more specificity? Like, was there anything there purpose related or career driven or creatively or artistically, or was it just like that was the little thread that you had and so you just ran with it because that's what you had available to you at that time?
There were certain things that I was aware of around freedom of time and location. I was at uni for 2 years because I did a bridging course, but 1.5 years of a marine science degree. So there were certain aspects of I was interested in how the world worked and how things worked, and specifically I just like exploration. There was that. For me, marine science was about exploring the oceans and exploring that realm that I found so interesting. And I feel like today I still have that bug, and it's just expressed. I don't do it through a marine science degree, it's expressed in other ways with my hobbies and travel and everything, and what I watch and just dive deep into and research. Those rabbit holes that I go down, and so I'd say that there were certain threads of the life that I wanted today that I had then, and it was just a matter of following. I just followed them, and then I waited for the next piece of the next thread, and then I did that. I remember I kept dreaming about it. Not that I'd count dreams as like a reliable sense of direction in the world. Like, I think there are other better structures, but for me back then that was the best I had, and I'd kept seeing different things around Scotland, and I needed to go on a trip there, and it's like I'd have these different threads and I'd follow them. And so yeah, there's certain things that I'd say travelling and the deep relationships, but the deep intimacy is around. It was a pain point for me around, I guess there was other multiples as well, but there was a pain point around that. There was a pain point around being stuck in a job that I didn't love and going to work every day, and that was my reality. And there was a pain point around like wanting to go travel, having to go to the same place and the constraints of it, or so there were certain pain points in my life that told me what I didn't want, and then I had to craft different. I think the relationship was such a clear one for me, because I went, I'm having all these unsatisfying relationships and friendships that I started to craft. What do I actually want from that? What do I actually want? And I actually I wrote a list of the qualities that I wanted to find in a partner, and so it wasn't me saying I don't want them to be this, and this.
I think we've just cut out. Yeah. It was cutting. Was it cutting for you?
I wasn't watching it.
No, but the sound.
Oh, maybe.
Like, was your own sound kind of
maybe
like a radio going in and out? Okay. Let me just download these MP3s and we can keep going. Or I can just press new recording. Yep. Cool. Just going to refresh. Okay, I pressed record again. Okay, we just had a tech drop out. But we're back. Yeah. As you were chatting, so if you can remember one of the things you said.
Yeah, I was just saying about how a lot of the threads back in that 5+ years ago, a lot of the threads that I was following were, I was at the point of knowing what I didn't want, in terms of a job or a relationship or whatever it was. There was what I didn't want, and one of the I remember having a list, and it was the qualities and the traits in a person, in my partner, and so I was able to actually vision and actually think of what I did want to create in the world. So yeah, a few pain points, and then actually a more defined thread of what I was going to follow and what I was going to do, or what I wanted.
What advice would you have for somebody who's experiencing that in their life right now? Like they're experiencing becoming aware that this isn't the life they envisioned for themselves, or maybe they're becoming aware of pain points, or maybe they're even seeing other people enjoying their life more or being more free in their expression or in their life, and feeling a bit gypped, or feeling resentful, or feeling like hopeful but like it's not available to them, or yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I guess the simplest point would be get a creative coach. But being able to know what you actually want, what the truth of it as well. It's not I feel I don't have any money, so I want money. So not a false vision. So having knowing what you truly want and what the true expression of your heart is, and then knowing where you actually are. So having the honesty to just being really honest with yourself of, it might be me.
I remember having that realization of I'm the problem. I'm the problem. And not that, could you mute your mic so I'm not feedbacking? Thanks, baby. Not that, I'm the problem and so I need to be removed, or I need fixing, or there's something wrong with me. So not in like a self-aggression standpoint or a disempowered standpoint, but actually from the point of view of it being empowering, that wow, if it's my decisions and my actions that are getting these results, then I can make some different decisions and take some different actions to produce some different results. And it was so liberating to realize that after I got over the bruising from the punch in the face that was. But yeah, so liberating. So now you're on the other side, and of course you're on the journey, and we're always creating more and learning more and evolving more and becoming more of ourselves. But compared to where you were back then, that 4 or 5 years ago, you are an embodiment of a vision that you had. So what would you offer for yourself back in that time, or what wisdom would you share from this perspective back to that previous version of Claire?
You can go as fast as you want. It's up to you. There's the saying that I get what I want and I'm going to get it, but there's also, I'd say to that Claire, that I can get it quicker than I think I can. That I can, and it's up to me. So it's all good and well having your next step, whatever that might be, but it's up to you to take it. There's what I'm just realizing right now is that there's so much more self-responsibility than, I'm just seeing how much self-responsibility there actually is, and that I'm currently just seeing that it hit me today how the structures and how much of my life I've lived in such a powerless and unproductive way that it's I'm still unraveling it, and I'm like building new habits and everything around it that are and contrary to how I used to live. And that's with everything that I've like achieved and created so far, that I'm just unraveling this like shit show of a structure that I used to have, and I'm still seeing this evidence of it come through in my life. And even you've called me slow before, but like in the sense of taking action and
Sorry, the sound just went cut out. Even I have something before was what I heard.
even you've called me.
Can you hear it? Can you hear yourself cutting out?
Can I? No, I can hear myself.
Great, I hope everyone's enjoyed this technical glitch.
I can cut it out.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, just around the point is that I can have it quicker than I think I can. I can have around the self-responsibility, and that it's up to me, and like that speed and that achievement is up to me. But it's also such a powerful realization at the same time. It's not, there's, I guess the other thing that I would also, can I do two?
You may.
The other point would be that it's not, like I'm not bad. The things that I do don't make me bad. And I just have wasted a lot of time spinning my wheels, trying either to be good, to not be bad, whatever it is. And it just doesn't matter in the terms of, in the scheme of I get what I want. So yeah, that would be the other thing that I'd tell myself. So thank you.
So you can be naughty and still get what you want, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Oh dear. Good. No, I do not mean to discredit what you're saying. It's really powerful. It's really powerful, and it's really true. Yeah, and even, you know, you can get what you want, and it can be really fucking hard work, or you can really enjoy it. And they're two completely different experiences of life that actually create different end results. Because even if we take a relationship, for example, if a relationship's really, really hard work, but you're still in the relationship, so the end result is you're in the relationship, right? But if you're really enjoying a relationship and it's profoundly deep and fun and you're having this epic adventure of life, you're also still in the relationship, but it's a completely different experience of that reality. So yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing those tips, tricks, advice. We're coming towards wrapping up, and so I would love if you could please share how can somebody get in touch with you if they want to connect with you, if they want to work with you, or if they want to follow the adventure of your work or the adventures of your life. How can they do that? And if there's any final notes that you want to share that you feel inspired to share.
Getting in touch or following me, the best place is on Instagram. My handle is _Clare Dunn, ClareDunn. And on there there's a form if you want to get in touch to work together. We can have a chat. That's the main one for now. And we can obviously post it in the show notes as to put on there. But yeah, it's my life. It's there's a highlights reel for my wife and all the ways that I geniusly love her, geniusly make her laugh. In terms of sharing anything else, this has been really fun. I know that when we're creating, sometimes there is tension, and we navigate it as like we do our best, and I think it's really come through here today that we do have a really great time creating together, and that's because we are both so in our own lives as well. We're so in our own hearts and and creating, and we're able to come together and have this beautiful relationship. And I know at the beginning there was a lot of this chaos and crashing together, and it was like we both were crumbling a little bit in our own selves, and definitely how it is now is so good. Like it is this example of how we both show to participate in our lives and our relationship, that it can be so good. And it's our relationship is such an anchor for me in my creative portfolio of like, look what I've created. For myself, I do use it sometimes when I'm talking to other people, but it's such an anchor for me in my creative ability of how good of a job I've done. Thank you.
There you go, Clare Dunn for relationship advice as well. As she rolls her eyes at me. Thanks, babe. That's really cool. I really encourage you all to go and connect with Clare on her Instagram. Awesome art, awesome photos, awesome adventures of health things, and we didn't even talk about that today, but it's a really high value for Clare is her health and journey with sustainably moving your body. And that'd be such a cool conversation to have on another day. And also some nice dorky videos where I get to be the butt of some jokes, which is always good. So yeah, go and enjoy the Clare Dunn humour and genius and love over on her Instagram. And I really encourage you, if you feel called to work with Clare as a coach, to take the leap, to fill in the form, to go ask the questions, because if there's a thread there, like anything in life, and even if there's something else that calls to you from this conversation, if there's a thread, take it, because we don't know where that thread's taking us. We just know if we don't take it, we're missing an opportunity. And as creators, our job is to lean into opportunities and to take advantage of what life throws at us and what we can say yes to, and to learn. And if all you do when you get on a conversation with a coach, or you ask somebody a question, or you follow a little nudge that you get, if all you do is learn about yourself or get more clarity about the direction that you want to go in, it's incredibly valuable. It's not a small thing. So please follow your heart. Please connect in the way that you feel called to. Thank you if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're not watching on YouTube and you'd like to be, you can see the link below in the show notes to come find the podcast on YouTube. And yeah, please subscribe, follow, do the things, and we'll see you next time in our next episode. Thanks so much, babe. It's been great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It's been a great time.
Woo! Present stop.
Da 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 da. It's the Genius Portal. Podcast is here.